It is my absolute honor to be joined today by author Katherine Hudson. She is the author of the newly released audiobook, Get Your Cow Out of My Kitchen. And so, Katherine, tell us about this book.
So the Get Your Cow to My Kitchen I'm a professional dog trainer. That is what I do for a living. And I started to write about training dogs and the different techniques. But the more I started writing, the more the memories started to flood back of all the animals that had been a part of my life to lead me to this career that I've chosen. So I've just turned 68. And the book starts where I'm a little kid running through the fields with a butterfly net, and how I had a fascination for anything that crawled, walked, slithered. But my real passion was for animals, dogs, cats, horses. It didn't matter what it was. So the book takes you through those memories of, with the animals and stuff. But what's really fun is, because I'm a bit older, when I was a kid, there were books that every chapter was a different story to itself. And they had these wonderful black and white sort of sketch type drawings. And that's what the book is about. Every chapter can sort of be a little standalone memory to itself. And the one thing that people that have read or listened to the book on the audiobook have said, "I feel so sorry for your mother." And my one lady said, "I don't know how they didn't put you in boarding school." So my dad is 91. And I happened to tell my dad that, and he put his head down and kind of rolled his eyes a bit, and he said, "We did consider it."
You're like, I appreciate your honesty, but yeah.
Oh my goodness. But I when you read the book, you'll totally understand what my especially my mother sort of went through. One of the stories is called The Cecropia Moth. What happened, I was in grade 4, I was coming home from school, and I was terrible for picking up anything. By the way, I just want to qualify something. As I've gotten older, more knowledgeable, more mature, I realize things need to be left alone. Whether it's a caterpillar on a log or a baby bird in the nest, right? But these stories are back in that time period where I didn't have those same kind of boundaries in my life. So I'm coming home from school, I'm in about grade 4, and I find this huge cocoon, And I'd never seen a cocoon so big. And it was made of these really, really strong fibers. But what was really cool was, the more I examined it, the more I realized whatever was in it was still alive, because I could see it kind of wiggle back and forth. So being a typical kid, I stuck it in my pocket and brought it home with me. So I put it in the top drawer of my bedroom desk among my pencils. And after a while, you sort of forget about it. Your discarded school assignments, etc. And every once in a while, I'd sort of bump my hand into it, and I could see it sort of wriggle back and forth. And this went on for like months, until a warm spring day. I'm standing at the bottom of our stairs in our 2-story house, a nice little house in the suburbs of London, Ontario, Canada. And I hear this blood-curdling scream coming from above me. And I recognize it's my mother. So I go running up the stairs, run down the hall, race into my bedroom. And there's my terror-stricken mother standing with her finger pointing toward my open desk drawer, literally going, "Ooh, what is that?" And there is a huge Cecropia moth that is just newly emerged, holding on to a pencil crayon, kind of unfolding its wings. Mom had gone looking for a pen in my drawer, and it opened up the drawer just as this thing is starting to come out of its cocoon. Cecropia moths are the largest moth in North America, and they have like a 7-inch long wingspan. So this thing is sitting there, and they tend to look furry, especially when they're newly hatched like that. So my poor mother, Needless to say, my mother went never looking for anything in a desk drawer of mine ever again after that day. So we'll fast forward to the name of the book. So the book's called Get Your Cow Out of My Kitchen. And where that title originated from is I am now a young teen, about 13, 14. I grew up fairly well off at one point in my life. And my parents were taking my sister to a horse show in Toronto. And this was going to be an overnight kind of thing. So they were going to leave me alone for the very first time with my large menagerie, right? Now, you got to understand where we lived. We did not, although we lived in the country, my parents had an estate. So we had acreage that surrounded our house, but it wasn't ours. We had a horse barn, but the horses were taken to the riding stable because we didn't actually have property, right? So anyway, they left me alone. And honestly, the first day was rather boring. I ate what I wanted, watch TV, play with the animals kind of thing. Next, they got a bit more eventful when a family friend called me up and said, do you want to go to an auction? Now, she was my mom's friend. And I thought, well, it's got to be better than sitting at home. I'm really not interested in garden, in tractors or farm implements. So we drive and drive and drive. We're out in the country. And as we pull in, there's all these buildings and I could smell manure. And I'm like, what is this? Oh, this is a horse and cattle auction, right? So she said, well, I'm looking to buy a nice horse. And I went, horse? So we're sitting in the stands in these wooden benches. And as the day went on, you saw these people in their coveralls and they're holding up little cardboard numbers and stuff. And horse after horse was paraded in, but a number of cows were also paraded into this, sort of penned area where we were all sitting. And the more I sat there, the more I thought, I've never had a pet cow. I wonder what a pet cow would be like. I think I'd like to have a pet cow, but these are all adults, right? And I thought, I don't want a big one. I want a baby one. Well, at the very end, a small group of black and white Herefords, which are beef cattle, were paraded in. And I was pretty sure I had enough in my bank account. Like I said, I was pretty well off. And I had quite the allowance, which I never spent. So I was pretty sure I had enough to buy one in my bank account. And I went to put up my hand, but it was for all of them. I didn't want 5 or 6. I just wanted one as a pet. So anyway, needless to say, I didn't get it. And as we're walking out, all of a sudden, this cute little black and white speckled nose pokes out from in between this wood stall. And I was like, oh. And she had the biggest brown eyes and the longest eyelashes, and she was so cute. And I was petting her little curly fur. Then I noticed the guy that was standing nearby in his coveralls, and I recognized him as the guy that had bought them. So I went up to him and I said, can I buy that one? I want to buy that one. So anyway, he sold her to me. And now we bring her home. We put her in one of the horse stalls. And then I think, oh, what's my mom going to say? So mom calls me from the horse show. And she says, how are things going? Fine. Anything new? Yes. I got something. Catherine, if you got another cat, you already have 6 barn cats or whatever in the barn. It's not a cat. A dog. Did you get another dog? No, it's not a dog. A rat. Did you buy another rat? No, it's not a rat. You didn't buy a horse, did you? I'd be really upset if you bought a horse. It's not a horse. It's a cow. All I could hear is my mom pause and then a holler. I'm sure the whole horse show heard her. She bought a cow. And then there were dead silence again. She goes, I'm going to kill you when I get home. So I waited, and sure enough, the horse trailer comes peeling up the driveway, gravel shooting out behind it, because I had to tell she's mad, right? She storms up the house, won't even look in my direction. So I waited for quite a while until I felt it was safe to go in the kitchen. I said, do you want to see her? No. And I cannot believe my friend Mary Lou took you to a cattle auction. So anyway, I knew I'd overstepped, right? Big time. I could tell how mad my mom was. So I went to the barn to say goodbye. But when I looked in, she had all this green slime coming from her nose because she was sick. So I go running to the house. I'm, Mom, she's sick. She's really sick. So Mom goes down to the barn. We look over, and as soon as Mom sees those big brown eyes and those big eyelashes and the black and white speckled nose and snotty little nose, Mom goes, "Oh, does she have a name?" I said, "No. What name do you think she should have?" Mom goes, "Clarabelle. I think she's a Clarabelle." Yes, Clarabelle. Perfect name, right? So anyway, needless to say, Clarabelle did not leave. But one of the memories that I remember that I wrote in the book, so I treated her like a horse or a dog, right? I just take her out on a leash and I taught her to go into all sorts of really cool places. And one day, a business associate of my dad's had come to visit. So he pulls into the driveway and I don't know he's there. And the next thing I know is I can hear, "Catherine Marie, come here right now," right? Go peeling around the side of the house. And there's a total stranger standing there with his arms crossed, staring at me. Mom looks like she's really upset. And then I noticed them all looking at the rear window of the man's car. And there I see a black and white speckled nose from the inside of his car because he had left his driver's door open and his seat pulled up. And I guess Clarabelle, who was probably about 3 months old at this stage, thought she wanted to see what the back seat looked like. So, needless to say, Mom was pretty upset with me. And I cannot tell you how many times the bus driver kept saying, "You take your cow home," because she'd be trying to get her head in the bus and the bus driver couldn't close the door. But the best one is, and this is where the book gets its name, is she's half grown. And my dad was a businessman who was away a lot on business. And he traveled around the world. But this particular day, he happened to be home for breakfast. And we were sitting there. I can remember we were eating French toast. And we had a large kitchen, and my mom was up by the cupboards in the kitchen. And I'm sitting there. And just behind the wall where I'm sitting is the side door going outside off the kitchen. And I can hear the door kind of go. And then I hear, "Bonk, bonk, bonk." And I put my head down and I'm thinking, "Oh, please don't let that be what I think it is. Please don't let that be what I think it is." And my dad looks up from his French toast to a very large black and white speckled nose standing next to him going, "Mm." And I look over at my mother. She's her arms folded across her chest. And she's like, "Get your cow out of my kitchen." So needless to say, Clarabelle liked going in places, but not so much leaving them. So it took a bit to sort of maneuver the cow out the kitchen and out the side door. And I was sort of in Mom's bad books a little bit for that one. But what was really cool was when Dad came back from his next business trip, he had gone to Switzerland and he brought her back an authentic Swiss cowbell. So I never had to worry about where she was. You could hear this all around the property.
I love this. I just feel like it is such a special book, just some special stories for sure. And so, is there anything else you'd like to share with us today about you, the book, and a message behind the book? Is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
I think so. I think that the message I'd like to share is, these were thoughts, these were memories that I just thought were for me. And when I started to be brave enough to just read some of them to friends, I saw their face light up. I saw how much joy it brought them and how it made them laugh. One friend calls it chicken soup for the soul, right? It's sort of an animal version. And I want to encourage people that even if you don't think you're a writer, so I'm dyslexic. I never even finished high school. And I would never, ever, ever have thought that I would be an author. It's not about your writing ability. It really is about you just putting those words down on a page. There are people out there that will help you edit the book. They will help you, right? Like Snow Tree and Hudson Jenkins, who's my publisher. They will help you with those kind of things. The most important thing is put those memories down and let other people enjoy them.
I love that. And your book sounds fun. It sounds like something any animal lover or just anyone would love and be entertained by. And so we recommend everyone, pick up this audiobook. It's available on Audible, it's on Amazon. And pick up this book, get it downloaded and listen to it and have some fun and get some chicken soup for the soul because we all need that right now. And so
Absolutely.
you are an
Absolutely.
absolute delight to talk to, and we look forward to catching back up with you soon and seeing how things are going. And thank you so much for talking to us today.
Oh, you are more than welcome.